Chaps.
Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Captain Ryan. Today's YouTube video comes from RazOrKing, and he is in his Minotaur. And as per his own email title, this battle in the Minotaur is all luck, no skill. Well, we're certainly going to see some excellent examples of just how lucky you can be in this ship, but we're also going to see some great examples of skill as well. And the Minotaur, in my opinion, is one of those ships that, even if you don't have the skill, you can do okay in. But because of the limitations that the Minotaur has to work with, that big, flat broadside, that weak armor, and those little teeny, albeit rapid-firing, 152mm guns, with only armor piercing, pretty much means that you do have to know what you're doing with this ship to do exceptionally well in it. And RazOrKing here is going to do just that. Now, the map is the Heaven map, if I'm not mistaken. One of the newer maps. It is Domination Match Mode, and he and a good chunk of his team have decided that they're going to head up to the sea cap point. And as he pushes up towards the sea cap point, he is spotted by an enemy destroyer. That's the Z-23 up there. Friendly destroyer, though, laying a smokescreen in front of him, and that is excellent. Unfortunately, he takes that turn a little too wide. He drifts right into the rock there, runs aground just slightly, but friendly destroyer lays this nice big smokescreen for him to hide behind and to hide in, so he doesn't take any massive hits from either of those battleships back over there. Now, this is one of the few critiques that I have for this matchup, and that is that RazOrKing has begun opening up on the battleships in the distance here. And you seem to have a little bit of a delay in realizing that these battleships are changing speed, especially when they're stopping or speeding up. One of the best ways you can determine whether or not a battleship is starting to change speeds is to actually just look at the smoke plume coming out of its funnel, because you can see how fast that's going based off of where the position relative to straight up and down is. The second factor that I'm going to critique you for here is that you are sitting inside of a smokescreen, and you know that the enemy destroyer is in that smokescreen, and you know he's there because, well, he's shooting at you. Well, it's at this point that you should have put torpedoes out. And actually, you should have put torpedoes out even before this point, because there's the destroyer. He's popped up. His smokescreen's no longer active, and you can start shooting at him. And again, that little bit of a delay in noticing that he's changing direction. But you could have put torpedoes out and probably sunk him right off the bat, because he was effectively sitting broadside on in his smokescreen. And if there's one thing that everybody just loves to do, it's to sink an enemy destroyer with torpedoes when they're sitting in a smokescreen. You do manage to get the first blood on that destroyer anyway, which is just fine. That's one destroyer down, and of course that destroyer did get torpedoes away. And you are now putting your torpedoes down range toward potential enemy targets. Of course, looking at the spread, looking at the target spread there, off in the distance, most of those torpedoes probably just going to run aground and impact that island. The ones that don't, though, might actually hit something if somebody decides to come down between the center stacks there. RazOrKing is now sitting in his own smokescreen. He's on fire, and of course, he doesn't have his damage repair ability, but he does have his heal ability, which in this particular situation, I would probably have popped, because that heal ability is going to let you repair some of that fire damage while it's happening. So you could be avoiding taking even more damage. Of course, fire's finally out. He does pop his heal anyway, so moot point. Enemy cruiser had pushed up there, got a little too brave. Nice big dose of brave pills for him. The rest of his team decided not to take those brave pills, and that poor cruiser got himself deleted by the concentrated fire of everything that's over here. And now that leaves his team up 2 ships, and soon to be up all 3 caps, as there's nobody in position on the enemy team to challenge either the B or the C capture point. The enemy team does manage to take out another ship, which is going to keep them in game, and they are starting to cap the B cap point. But there's not an awful lot they can do by hiding in the back. Razor puts out more torpedoes, this time again down between those 2 rocky stacks there. But he's got 2 different targets to shoot at here. He originally was targeting that German battleship, but now he's targeting the Zao that's down there. And the Zao, a very dangerous ship, definitely worth prioritizing, especially if he's broadside on and not moving because he's run aground on the friendly battleship. Enemy battleship, though, is turning broadside on, and that, of course, can only mean that he's about to take a big side of torpedoes to go with his salty pills. Razor manages to secure the kill on that battleship, but hey, guess what? That Zao gets clipped by another torpedo, finishing him off for a double strike. Yep, all luck, no skill. Razor now pushing forward. He is going to be detected. There is actually an aircraft carrier in the game, and this is, I think, about the first time that that's actually come into any kind of play for him. Enemy battleship coming around the side of this island at point-blank range, and he's got all of his guns here. This could go very, very badly for Razor. We will see enemy battleship take shots out, and yep, nearly deletes him. Wow, holy shit. Razor somehow managing to survive by the skin of his teeth. I'm thinking that this battleship driver forgot he had manual secondaries until it was too late, and the friendly carrier comes in and saves his ass with a expertly placed aerial drop to take that battleship out of action before he can finish off Razor. Razor, that battleship player, is probably not happy that you didn't get deleted. You, on the other hand, are probably changing your pants right now over the fact that you didn't get deleted. Enemy North Carolina over here, broadside on, not even paying attention to the nearly dead cruiser that's sitting out in the open. This is one of those things that I always like to talk about. Don't get target fixated. Pull that gun camera back between your shots and take a quick survey of the field, because sometimes you will spot nice, juicy targets of opportunity that you can take out of the game and get yourself a guaranteed kill, as well as keep your team in the game a little bit longer. Yet another enemy battleship feels like taking his brave pills as he pushes up there. Razor doesn't quite manage to get shots away fast enough to secure the kill. Oh well. He has been able to repair his ship nicely, and at this point the enemy team has captured the B cap point, but they're down to 4 ships, and the B cap point is still being contested. So they've almost captured it, but it's being contested, and there's only 4 ships on the enemy team, which means there's not a lot of support down there. The enemy aircraft carrier is still somewhere in this battle, but we haven't seen him yet. The enemy team still has 1 destroyer, so at this stage in the game, that destroyer is probably not too happy, but can still be a very dangerous and very lethal machine if it's being handled well, because there are a lot of low HP ships on Razor's team, including a couple of destroyers, and if that destroyer's got any level of HP left, he can just come in and start wrecking people. Enemy team finally pushed back out of the B cap point, which means Razor's team is going to be able to start capping it. Enemy aircraft carrier sending his torpedo bombers back over to the B-cap point. Looks like he's trying to defend that there. Razor does manage to actually shoot one of those aircraft down, which is probably good for him. But they are not particularly interested in going after him. There's the enemy destroyer, there's the enemy remaining ships, and there's the carrier who pops up. Now you'll notice that Razor very quickly switched his attention over this direction because he saw that CV pop up on the minimap before he was actually visible, which is a fantastic way to pay attention to what's going on. And now he's just going to start ripping into this aircraft carrier at range. Assuming the shots actually want to connect, falling just a little bit short there. Carrier sending his aircraft back over in this direction, and the question is Razor going to get hit there? Carrier does manage to land a couple of dive bomb hits. He puts it out very quickly, but he doesn't have any repairs left, so all the damage that he takes is going to stick at this point. He does have his smoke screen though, so if he wanted to, he could effectively slam on the brakes, pop his smoke screen, and just disappear into concealment. And at this point, I would probably be doing that. Does manage to take out the enemy aircraft carrier, and it looks like there's only one ship left on the enemy team, and he gets taken out of the game right at the very end. Good job, RazOrKing. 173,000 damage done in that battle. He's earned himself a Confederate, a First Blood, a Dreadnought, obviously, and a devastating strike with his double strike. So, overall, a fantastic game for you. But this also means he's going to be top of the team for XP earned at well over 2,000 base XP, putting him nicely well above everything in that matchup. Not quite all luck, no skill, but definitely a fair amount of luck and a reasonable amount of understanding of the ship. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and my channels, gain access to some of my World of Warships replays early, you can become my supporter on Patreon. Any support level will grant you access to those replays, and of course each level of support comes with its own perks. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships or other games live at 10 a.m. on Sunday, you can do so by liking and following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.